Here's 6 tips that anyone can do to improve in Apex Legends. My first tip is to stop making excuses and take accountability for your mistakes. If you truly want to get better at anything in life, you have to learn to take accountability for your mistakes and reflect on what you could improve on in the future. I would also recommend trying to surround yourself with others who take accountability and don't make excuses. Find people that hold each other accountable in a non-toxic way. The second tip I have for you is to use the firing range to warm up. I think this is important for the sole reason that getting off to a good start can bring the vibes to an all-time high, propelling your game to the next level. In the range, I recommend practicing your snaps and not worrying too much about the damage you put onto targets. Constantly move in odd patterns to simulate real in-game gunfights that you weren't prepared for. The third tip, my favorite one, have some confidence. One thing I always say is never go into a game thinking you can't lose, but go into every game thinking you will win. There's a big difference in between those two things, and I believe confidence is key. The mind is a powerful thing, and you can certainly speak things into existence. How many times have you or someone you've known said, "Man, they're Preds, like we don't stand a chance," and then proceed to lose to them? As someone who has played against the best, I promise you, if you go in saying someone's better than you most likely are going to lose. Badges and stats aren't everything. In fact, they're far from that. Stats mainly correlate to playtime, not skill, and badges vary in difficulty as you factor in servers, seasons, and multitude of things. Don't worry about who has what badge, it'll only hurt you in the end. Play your game and make plays with confidence. The fourth tip is work on your communication skills. Don't just say one shot when you land a couple bullets. Make sure your callouts are clear and clean. Work on small callouts. For instance, if your teammate's in a 1v1, tell him what guns the enemy used to down you to give him a slight edge. Knowledge can win you a fight. If an enemy uses a tactical or ultimate ability, be sure to call it out. Create a push and emphasize your words to rally the team. The fifth tip might be an odd one, but I see it too often. If you want to get better, you need to stop running so much. If you're losing fights, it means you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it can be more beneficial to just lose a fight and reflect than to run and think you made the right play because you lived. I'm not saying to never run from fights, but the amount of times I see a team have advantage over another team, and yet they still retreat because they got tagged up, it's insane. If you have an advantage against another team and lose, it's okay. Just learn from it. But constantly running every time you have your armor broke will only lead to more teams boxing you in. And if you couldn't handle that team one-on-one, things are about to get far worse when you're forced to deal with 2 teams at once. For the sixth and final tip, most people have heard this before, but for my lower levels who haven't, you need to make sure every fight is as quick as it can be. Fighting for a minute or more, you just run a really high risk of getting third-partied. Push when you crack someone and hold the advantage. Loot quickly and make sure someone is constantly looking for the next engagement to come in. I hope these tips helped you. If they did, maybe throw a like or a comment on my video. I'm trying to make content my full-time gig, so every comment really does help, truly. Now get out there and pop off, kings and queens.